Welcome and good morning to the Vision Alignment Show. Happy Monday. It's a great day to be alive. Oh my gosh. It is beautiful weather here where I live, and I am so looking forward to getting outside and walking around and focusing on my vision. So yes, everything we do here has to do with vision, because it's important for us all to understand that we have blindness in our lives. But if we can understand that blindness, and if we can sometimes put on blinders and really focus on our vision wholeheartedly, but then sometimes also take those blinders off. If we can take those blinders off, we'll see what else is going on around us. We'll see how the world is interacting with us. But somebody that knows her vision, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about people that are coming on to be interviewed in the next few days. But we're going to go into that at the end of the show. So stick around. But I want to bring on somebody that knows her vision very, very well. And without any further ado, here she is, Cara Silletto. Hey!
Hello. So good to be here, Brian. Things are great.
Thank you so much for joining me this morning.
Awesome. Super thrilled to be here and excited to have a conversation today about vision. This is awesome.
Yeah, cool. Well, tell me, Cara, when is your first recollection of knowing your vision?
You know, in 2005, I was working as an event planner, and I was actually hiring speakers and trainers for a state association in the healthcare industry. And I remember looking at this speaker up on stage and thinking, I want to do that. Because I have actually been a professional performer since age 7. I have been on a stage singing professionally since age 7. And so when I saw this person who had blended performance with business, and they were up on a stage solving a business problem, I thought, that's exactly it. That's what I want to do. I have no credibility and I have no idea what I'm going to talk about someday, but someday that was where that seed was planted, that I saw that vision of what could be down the road.
Awesome. If you want to hear more, stick around. We'll be right back. Cara, again, thank you for joining. But before we go farther into this, I want to encourage our listeners to share this video out with as many people as you can think of, because that's really what this is all about, is making this community larger. So thank you so much for doing that. And as always, put a picture of you winking in your timeline. When you wink, begin to think about what makes you unique. So I know what makes me unique, and it's not my eye. What makes me unique is my positive personality and how I'm able to share my story with other people in order to have a lasting impact on their lives. So when you wink and you're taking that picture, think, well, if this guy over here knows what makes him unique and it's not his eye, I wonder what makes me unique. That's where it all begins. So thank you so much for doing that. And share the video out. That's great. And then put the timeline in. And then, if you want to get more of this information from me, go to brianwagner.live. That's BRIN Wagner.live, all together, brianwagner.live, and sign up for Vision Insights. So thank you so much. And Cara, on to you.
Hello.
Well, before we really get started into the full questions, I want to ask you your story. Just tell us a little bit about your story and take as long as you want.
Sure. So my name is Cara Silletto, and I am now the president and founder of Magnet Culture, which we've been around almost a decade. Today, we focus on reducing employee turnover. That is our specialty. And if you heard earlier about how that idea of becoming a speaker and trainer was planted for me, what we did over time was we realized that we sit in a very unique sweet spot. I happen to be one of the oldest millennials, born in 1981. And so when I went out to find a business problem that I could solve, I just heard everybody complaining about millennials. And of course, the millennials complaining about boomers and Gen Xers complaining that they were stuck in the middle. So I really started to build out some training and conversations around bridging those generational gaps in a more effective way. And then when I started selling those programs to companies, I realized that most companies don't have a line item for bridging generational gaps in their budget. And so we thought, okay, what is the deeper business problem that we are solving? And it turned out that companies needed to bridge those generational gaps to reduce turnover. So that's really how we created this company around reducing employee turnover by bridging generational gaps and making managers more effective in their roles. And we just continue building, Brian. More programs, more training, more speaking. Now we've got products and online courses and all kinds of fun things, micro learning videos. We're trying to help managers where they are because we all know everybody's busy. So that's our goal right now, and that's the work that we do.
That's incredible. Wow. So you have a lot going on. But when you found something that really stuck with you and resonated, and then you could find what was sellable, how did that make you feel?
Oh, it's amazing. I mean, I feel like I'm living the dream, Brian. I get to get up every day and actually make a difference. I found a real business problem that can be solved. Some people just say, oh, well, turnover is just normal now, but excessive turnover doesn't have to be normal. So I really love the business aspect of solving the problem, but also the personal aspect of when you make a manager better in their role, they sleep better at night. The employees sleep better at night, and the senior leadership sleeps better at night because we start to create a place where people want to work. And I've had amazing bosses, and I've had some not amazing bosses, as we all have. Yeah. And so I absolutely am passionate about and love creating better bosses and creating better cultures to make those places where people want to come back tomorrow. And it just, if you can't tell, I mean, it just jazzes me up because we see the results, and then people come back and thank us later and say, man, this is awesome. Not only did we help make their employment place better, but then sometimes people will say to me, Cara, you cut my household arguments in half because now, I understand my children. I understand my husband, like that kind of thing. And it's just really all around making it a better world and better workplaces.
Wow, that's awesome. So if you want to find out more, you can go to magnetculture.com, right?
Yeah, buddy, magnetculture.com.
And this other URL that we have is for we help reduce turnover.
Yep, we reduce turnover.com.
That's awesome.
That's it.
So do those go to the same site?
Yeah, that's our website that focuses on turnover. And we also have workforceretentionbootcamp.com is a program that is very specific for companies who really want to focus on reducing turnover and need that training for their folks. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, great. Thank you. Thank you for that. So again, and one thing I didn't mention for anybody that's listening, please put in the comments. where you're coming in from. Put in the hashtag alive if you're listening to this live. If you're listening on replay, put in a hashtag replay. That would be great. Thank you very much. Oh, and by the way, when you take that picture of yourself winking, remember to tag me on that so I get the copy. I see that you've done that, and you're going to be entered into a raffle to win a free copy, a signed copy of my book. Sometimes it does take a brain surgeon, so that's great. Oh, and then put in a hashtag of Brian with one eye and a hashtag of winking without Wagner. So that's it.
Nice.
Well, thank you so much. You've got so much going on, and so many things with all that you have. How do you do it? How do you make I guess how do you stay steadfast with this?
Sure. So I have an incredible team. Shout out to my team here. I have an incredible team that helps with everything behind the scenes for me. So we've got great sales folks and marketing folks and operations folks and logistics folks, and everybody is just stellar on our team. And I couldn't be more thankful for that. So I am, just to make sure that I hit the mark, I'm always thinking about, what is our staffing need next, right? I always think a little bit ahead of where we are. I find, especially with small businesses and entrepreneurs, that a lot of times we don't think about hiring more folks until we're too overloaded. And then you don't have time to recruit and hire and train and mentor and things like that. So I try to practice what I preach and hire ahead of our needs so that we can have people up and running and really great at their job by the time we need them to do that. So a lot of my time is spent on managing the team, working with the team members on each of their areas of expertise, and lending my support and any expertise that I can bring to the table to help them do their jobs. Yeah.
So helping them do their jobs, that's an important part of this. But how do you help them to? Is it something where, because obviously COVID has had a big effect on how we interact. So how has it changed your world?
Great question. And we have been virtual for 8 years. So we actually were using Zoom and other platforms even before the pandemic hit. And my staff is all around the country. So we have always been working remotely and virtually as a team. So I was very lucky that when the pandemic happened, I didn't have to immediately shift to that and learn how to manage remote workers. So now I just check in with folks. It comes very naturally for me. I know not everyone is such a people person and wants to have really strong connections with every single person, but because that comes naturally to me, it is a very high priority that I constantly am checking in with my people, not checking on them, like, what's the status of this report? Not that kind of thing, but checking in and how are things. We've even had a few things that we did during COVID and still have. We implemented happy hours. Because we did realize, especially earlier in the pandemic, that a lot of people weren't seeing their friends and family nights and weekends, and they were missing out on that social aspect. So we started doing the virtual happy hours, and we started having a little bit more team calls and getting together more often because things were changing. As you can imagine, in our business of speaking and training, a lot of speaking and training halted in 2020 or paused at that time and was being rescheduled. And I was reworking my team. Why don't you go over here and work on this project, and you go over here and work on this project, because the workload itself had changed dramatically. So I am hyper focused on people's workloads, not to squeeze them for more hours, but actually the opposite, to make sure that people are not burning out, to make sure that people have the right amount on their plate, but that they are stretched to do new things and better things and whatnot. And also just to have that real, genuine check-in of how are things? I mean, I spent a lot more time asking that question during COVID, during 2020 for sure, than ever before, because I wanted to make sure that my folks were good holistically, like 24/7, right? I had staff that didn't have childcare. I had staff that had family members, struggling with other things. there was a lot of grieving, a lot of loss, a lot of pain during that time. And I tried to give them the space and a support resource in me as a friend during that time as well.
Yeah. So tell us what a happy hour looks like.
Well, I crack open a cold one. For me, it's a legit happy hour of with a cocktail or a drink or whatnot. And some of my team members drink and some don't. And so people bring whatever beverage of choice they want. Sometimes we play games. Heads Up is a really good game on your phone where you can put the phone up on your forehead and play games. A lot of times we just talk about our childhood and our families and things that are not work related, because as you can imagine with a virtual team, you used to get a lot of that around the water cooler or the Keurig. And now if you've transitioned to a virtual team, when are you going to talk about your wedding day or, other big milestones or your parents and things like that if you're just in virtual meetings and virtual conversations all the time? So we specifically say no work business during the happy hour, no work conversations. And we'll even pull up pictures on Facebook, our old history of our weddings or children or childhood, things like that. There's not really an agenda on it, but we end up talking about fun things. And a lot of times it ends with somebody sending Amazon or other links of things that, I just got this new lotion or what. I mean, it could be anything. Last time we were talking about magnets for your screen door so that your animals and children don't walk through the screen or glass door. And if you didn't know, you can get designer magnets, like decorative magnets,
Really?
so they can see it. So, we just talk about life hacks and fun stuff like that to get to know each other better. It's pretty cool.
And does it last more than an hour?
It's usually right about an hour. Yeah. Sometimes they go long. Sometimes it's a lot of people and, half a dozen or 8 people. And sometimes it's just 2. It's optional on our team. I don't make anybody come if they don't want to, but it is within work hours. I did it from 4 to 5 on Thursdays. So they can either take the break, or if they really don't want to do that and want to get other things done, I understand that too. I'm not going to force them to chit chat. So.
But then you reach out to your people on top of that, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
We check in, it's not daily, but almost all my team members have some kind of weekly check-in with me because of different projects or roles that they're responsible for. And then on top of that, I try to do calls. I tell my team that whenever I'm on the road, driving or sitting at an airport, they should expect random check-in calls with me because that's when I will call and I'll just say, how's it going? What's up?
Yeah.
Do you need anything from me? Because a lot of times my team, they're amazing at what they do, but sometimes they're waiting for me to make a decision or waiting for some information from me or waiting for me to review something before they send it out. And so that's when I'll call and check on them just to see, do you need anything? And that works really well also.
Awesome. Interesting. So tell me a little bit about, tell us what obstacles or challenges are you still working on, still trying to overcome?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest ones is how busy everybody is nowadays. All of our clients and all kinds of company leaders out there, they're just so busy, and finding time for training, for example, they know they need it. We know that we cannot go another year or 18 months or 24 months without giving tools to the leaders and supervisors, especially the people that we've promoted into those positions in that time. But yet, more than even a budget constraint, time tends to be a huge constraint for folks. So that's why we're being more flexible about, virtual versus like live virtual versus in person. And also even the asynchronous, right? So we created an online course. We now have short video programs and things. So our big challenge right now is trying to figure out, how do we meet leaders where they are right now? How do we fit into their day in order to improve their effectiveness and increase their skill set, but yet not disrupt all the productivity that's going on and that is really a must-have these days.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. So you have a lot going on. What do you do to recharge?
Oh man, I am a true extrovert, Brian. So I know you and I know each other pretty well, so you know how like crazy outgoing I am. But for me, it's friends and family. It's people. My husband's the opposite. He needs me time, right? And he's got to go recharge by himself. But I am a true extrovert, which means I get my energy from other people, and I love, love, love whether it's outside in driveway time with the neighbor kids. I have a 6-year-old. So we spend a lot of time, nights and weekends, out playing with the neighbors. I spend a ton of time with my mom and my sister. We make an 8-minute triangle in our town. So the three of us see each other a lot and hang out quite a bit. So I'm just constantly looking for, time with other people. And even my son, I mean, we sing and dance around the house. He's a little performer too. So we do a lot of just, chatting and singing and dancing and riding bikes and that kind of stuff, which is so fun.
So what is he into these days?
Oh my gosh. Well, anyone who has a 6-year-old boy is going to know that it's Pokemon and Minecraft, Roblox, and there's a great show on Netflix called Henry Danger, and it is all the rage for these young kids right now. So that's it.
Okay. Well, I'm going to take your word for it. I don't have a 6-year-old anymore, so mine have gotten a little older. So
yeah. Well, I'll tell you though, Brian, things come back around because he's also into Ninja Turtles and Power Rangers and things that I was into as a kid. So I can't believe it. Micro Machines are coming back, things like that my husband is really loving the nostalgia of all of that.
Oh, that's funny. I remember when my kids were little, we lived in Chicago at the time, 25 years ago, and we would walk on in the downtown Chicago, and we would walk over the sewer grates, or not sewer grates, whatever they are, where you have the slats in the sidewalk. You could see down, and I would yell for Michelangelo or Leonardo or Raphael.
Cowabunga, dude!
Oh yeah, cowabunga! Forgot about that. Too funny.
That's awesome.
Wow. So this is great. I'm so glad you came on today.
Me too.
This has been very, very uplifting. So tell me, you have many instances where you have blind spots, and you have different times where people tell you, or maybe they don't tell you, that you're coming off in a certain way, or maybe you notice how you're not getting different deals, or things aren't going your way. Something's holding you back. So who helps you to see your blind spots?
Yeah, I have to circle back to my team again. I am extremely open about not having all the answers and certainly having blind spots that I'm unaware of. So I consistently ask my team, not just what are my blind spots, but what do you think? Because I also just want to see different perspectives. It may be something that I'm not seeing because it's a blind spot, or it may just be that someone has a different perspective and a totally different view than I have on something. So I'm really open to asking folks, how do they view the situation? What questions would they be asking in this time? And so, yeah, my team is pretty good about that. I am also, just because of the work we do, right, Brian? I mean, we help leaders see these blind spots. And so because we are in that space, I think we tend to analyze ourselves even and ask ourselves some of those questions that we're asking in a workshop or in a program with our clients. And so I love to learn about different views. That's also a passion of mine. It really helped with the generational work that we built because as you can imagine, I'm a millennial, and I was thinking, well, how do I see the boomer view? So I had to ask a lot of questions and not make assumptions. You have to reduce your judgment and stop making so many assumptions. So I just ask a ton of questions, whether it's with my team, even my husband, in my personal life, my friends. I'll ask my girlfriends, what am I missing here? And am I being ridiculous? Like when I see something a very specific, narrow way, it's like, should I be looking at this a different way? So I do constantly ask that question and try to analyze what would be the other views on that same issue if I were sitting in somebody else's seat.
That's good. I love it.
Yeah.
You don't always get honest feedback. Not that they're not being honest, but sometimes people are too close. Like
True.
Yes. You gotta be mindful of that.
Yes. Now I'm one of those friends though, Brian. So just so you know, in case you need to call me someday, I will tell my friends, I am not the friend who, if you say, oh, she's so rude, or I can't believe she did that to me, and I'm like, yeah, what was she thinking? That's ridiculous. Like, that's not me. If a friend says, oh, she was so rude and I can't believe she did it, I go the opposite and I go, oh, well, give her a break. Let's see it from her side. Maybe she didn't mean to do that, And so some of my friends hate that about me because they're like, Cara, I just wanted to complain. I just want to vent. Don't solve the problem. Don't tell me that I need to see it from her side, that kind of thing. Because I'm going to try to solve the problem or bridge the gap. I'm going to try to really reduce that conflict and find some middle ground. I mean, that's just how I'm wired. And some of my friends love that about me. And some of them, they just shake their head like, oh, here she goes again.
But I think in your role as a trainer, you're kind of programmed to fix things, right?
That's exactly what it is. I mean, that's what I do all day with my clients. So it's hard to turn it off. And I'm just blessed that I found a profession and was able to build a business around. To me, it's one of my specialties. It's one of my strengths. And I can use that to help our clients, where other people, that doesn't come as naturally for them. Or it, for me, I just can't turn it off. It's how I'm wired.
Oh, that's awesome. So your business is built around that. What's the next level of success look like for you?
Well, I don't know exactly, but for me, we just hired 2 more staff members.
What?
And so we continue to grow our team. I'm interviewing a couple trainers right now because we're needing to also grow our training team. And so to me, it just looks like helping more businesses and helping more leaders. We are building out some new training programs that go even beyond reducing turnover, because our clients have said, great, we worked with you and you've helped reduce turnover. Now let's just focus on building skills for leadership, building all types of skills and kind of diving deeper into the softer skills or essential skills, communication, leadership, those things. So I just listen again to my clients and to the market of what's missing. Where's the gap? Where's the conflict? And then I will, build those programs that our clients need. So that's where we're headed.
Wow. That's incredible. One last question, and then we're already at our end of our time, which the time goes by so fast. So, but tell me, you talk a little bit about learning and how important that is. What are you reading right now to learn more?
Yeah, so I'll be honest, I'm not a reader as far as regular books cover to cover. Sometimes I'll do Audible or Kindle and things like that, but I just read a ton of articles on LinkedIn and on like Harvard Business Review and even within the news, because workforce is everywhere. So I'm constantly trying to stay up on what's going on with the labor market itself, with the economy, as far as the workforce is involved with that. And just hearing different perspectives from industry leaders, CEOs, researchers about what does the future of work look like? Are we going to be more remote, more hybrid? How are we going to deal with the potential minimum wage increases, all the wage compression? There's all kinds of stuff behind the scenes that happens when policies get changed. And in some cases, policies are way behind and should have been changed a long time ago. And then in other cases, they get pushed forward that shouldn't be, or it's going to have negative adverse reactions, unintended consequences, and things like that. So I'm always trying to, again, see what are the different perspectives on any different policies, any different changes across our country, across our society, and also at a local level. Even right now, Brian, you talk to clients in New York, they're having a totally different workforce recruiting and retention experience than clients in Indiana, because the states are at different levels of openness. Different states, they keep changing the unemployment, benefits and things like that. And so I'm just having to keep up with all of that. And that's really where I spend my time reading and learning and listening to podcasts and things, is all around the workforce.
Wow. Thank you so much for being on today, Cara. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure. Great to see you.
Wonderful. I'm going to wave you off, but if you'll hang out in the green room for a little bit, I'll be back and we'll chat a little more.
Sure. Bye.
All right, great. Thank you. Bye. Oh, wow. What a great show. Cara Silletto is a gem. So she has brought so much value to this group, and I hope that all of you feel the same way. If there's ever anything you need from her or want to talk more about, please, reach out and put a comment on the on this video, or send me a note. Either way. Again, we've got a great show lined up for you for tomorrow. We've got Roy Tuscany coming on. Roy Tuscany is with the High Fives organization. So it's an organization to help people with disabilities in order to allow them to be able to do more than what they've ever done before, and allow them to, do sports and activities like that. So look forward to seeing you tomorrow on that show. That'll be at 10 o'clock again tomorrow and Tuesday. And then Wednesday we have, myself, I'm going to be talking about our vision and how important it is to know what our vision is. But then Thursday we'll have Dave Caperton come on, and Dave doesn't know that yet, but I'm going to let him know in a little bit. But I'm really looking forward to having him on. So we've got a great show lined up for you for this week. We've got lots of things we're doing. If there's ever anything else that I can do for you, please don't hesitate to ask and let me know. Talk to you soon. Thanks a lot. And as always, keep one eye